Okay, welcome all. Myself, Arun, from Excelledia Quality Consulting. We are a management consulting firm, um, like working into so many services, which brings in business improvements for the companies. I would like to start this webinar by inviting Mr. Tony into this. He is a CM Lean, a PMP, mechanical engineer, a PM, a PBA, a civil engineer by education, and tons of experience in this field. Uh, I would like to go to the next few slides to explain what Excelledia does. To give an introduction, those people are in this webinar doesn't know about Excelledia. I would like to take this opportunity to give a little bit input on it. As I mentioned, we are a consulting firm. More than a decade, we have been serving customers across world, predominantly into business process improvements. Into three main focused areas like people, process, and technology. I would like to elaborate a little bit on what kind of services that we do on these two or three focus areas. On the people side is basically we do the training and coaching part of it with respect to your soft skills trainings, your people assessments, your coaching and mentoring in different areas. Uh, we have a consulting piece which we moreover address to the process side of it, where we bring in a best frameworks across world what has been practiced, and we try to help organizations in implementing those frameworks and eventually bringing in more business improvements. Then on, we do have a technology focus area as well, where we have many products based on artificial intelligence. We are able to automate management systems. We have been brought in a lot of digitalization solutions for companies, and we work around this a lot. So this is the nutshell what Excelledia had done. We had 50 plus country assignments. We have close to about 100 plus ministries that we have worked with, and we have given our services to them. We have already engaged in 90 plus AI projects in different locations across world. We have been doing trainings for some time, so we do have good amount of experience in training people, upskilling their skill sets, and ensuring that they help the organization to achieve their goals and objectives. Uh, of course, where consulting experience is huge. We have trained many people onto our journey for the past decade. We have able to help organizations or professionals getting certified around 6,000 plus. It's more actually. It's growing on each and every year. So this is a nutshell that what we do. With respect to the service portfolio, this is what we do. Eventually, there are four main pillars to it. ISO management system is one of the main pillar. We have been able to give trainings and implementation for customers for many standards. A couple of them are listed here. There are many more to it. As a part of that pillar, we do trainings as well. We do conference and webinars like such kind of one webinar that we are doing. It's here, like which comes under business process improvement, which is the next pillar. And we have under business process improvement, there are many frameworks that we have adopted. One of it is Lean. We have been fortunate to bring in or give services on Lean from the year 2010. And now on, we have multiple organizations where we were able to help them to implement these concepts. So this is when we planned for this webinar, which is Lean Construction, to be the latest one. The third pillar is the risk advisory piece of it. Here we moreover address to standards related to risk, governance, and so on. Then we have soft skills area where it's a piece of the people part of it, and we cut across every all the pillars with improvements in technology and digitalizing them. So that is our technology piece. So this is what nutshell what Excelledia does. Now, I would like to hand over the webinar to Mr. Tony, who would be explaining us how to demystify lean construction in current scenarios. I would like to welcome on board to Tony here. Tony, over to you. Please take it further. We are excited to listen from you to understand how effectively this lean construction concepts can be adopted.
Thank you, Arun. Thank you, Don, and thank you, Excelledia team, to setting up this wonderful webinar. And also, thank you, everyone, for joining us for this webinar. So to start with, we put up a few words here like a collaboration, lean construction, etc. So let me take first 2-3 slides to explain what it means and in the perspective of to have a good session to continue with that. So first and most, let me start with the word collaboration. This is one of the most a trending word today, the buzzword, but mostly misunderstood by many people in our industry as well. So many people are thinking like the collaboration means the cooperativeness, but it's only one part of it. So there are two real words which is actually defining the collaboration as per Thomas Kilmann. So I'm taking a reference of Thomas Kilmann's conflict mode interest metrics. So we have an assertiveness required to be in one person or in one set of people or in one organization. Same time, there should be a cooperative enough to work with the people together. So when these two parameters coming together, that's when we will see that the real collaboration coming. So many times the people misunderstand the collaboration means it's only the cooperativeness. I'm telling something, people have to come and talk to me and agree with me and do along with me. That is just, we are only making the people to accommodate what we are trying to do it. Or many times people again insisting on, okay, the collaboration means you have to listen to me and to come some kind of wherever you required, whatever you required, you need to come down and listen to me and then come and support me. No, that's compromising. So it is the collaboration is a very powerful word which we need to really understand. Unless until we understand the real meaning of collaboration, we will not be able to try to bring that into our work of or the way of working it. So covering the collaboration now, I just want to take your attention to why do we need lean into the construction itself? Construction is an industry hundreds and hundreds years old, and we are the people probably might be started with the real planning, the Gantt chart and everything. So why do we need any other management concepts or something which, especially from the Toyota production system, come to the lean manufacturing, and why do we need to really take that into the construction industry? Many people may be having this question in their mind. So one of the point which I need to start talking or to mention in this webinar is the challenge what the industry is facing today to achieve the project deliverable. We always, when the beginning of a project, we try to achieve the time, cost, and quality together. But at the same time, the people within the organization, within the project, within the construction industry, they're silently talking about, no, it's not possible. Don't ask me to do all the things together. You want to get a good quality, give me time and cost. You want to get a kind of a time is important, then don't come and ask about the quality or the things. Please let me allow me to allow me to work, and I will try to complete the work and move forward. So when in a system where the people begin the project with a very high confidence of time, cost, quality, everything we'll be achieving, this is what we're pitching to the client in our presentation, in our kickoff meeting, then what is happening? As the project progress, what we could see is there is a kind of a low resource efficiency when the project begins and when the project is ongoing. The contractors and the people, those who are working in the project, they deploy the resources. Once they deploy the equipment and the machinery, the manpowers and everything, they will see that, okay, what the output, what I expected at the time of planning or at the time of tendering, it's not coming. So my resources are waiting in the work, waiting in the site for the work. So what will happen? They will try to demobilize or try to change the priority, and they try to break the workflow and then try to see that whatever is beneficial for that particular team to get the output, they try to focus on that. This lead to another situation like the work will be waiting, because unless until you follow the sequence or the agreed understanding of completing the work and handing over the work to the next work, the person in line, we will not make the progress. So someone else have to come, and now they have to look for the resources need to come, and they have to look for some work, Or in the other way, the work is waiting because the resources is already demobilized and the work is not progressing. So these two situations, which is very common in construction industry, many times we can see in the same project this situation exists. The project itself, there will be sufficient resources, they don't have a work front, but at the same time where the work is available and everything is coming together and there is no sufficient resources to go ahead. So this leading to another situation in a typical situation in our project called as a unevenness. Unevenness is something which we always faced, but we never noticed. We are very good in giving a commitment and saying that I'm going to do this work by tomorrow, day after tomorrow. But at the end of the day, that promises keep on changing. So varying or unscheduled arrival of work is what is now we can see. Someone who's promising the work, they're going to give you the work front or a clearance for all the activities by completing my activity. Maybe it's an excavation, but all of a sudden then it's coming and telling, okay, now it's ready for pipeline. It may be running for a long distance. So you don't know when the work is going to come to you, and you don't know when you are able to complete the work. This ultimately creating a turbulence in the system, and the people are kind of an overburdening now because the end date cannot change it. That's something commitment which the managements have decided and you signed off with the client or anything. So the end date is not changing. So when in this situation, the varying schedule and the people work waiting, but end of the day, work need to be completed. So we all are forcing the system to work over the time, like overload the system and asking the resources to work overtime and everything. Now, when this is the construction reality, what we are seeing is the organizations and the people working in the industry are changing into a silo way of optimization. Forget about the mechanical, forget about the pipeline guys, forget about the excavation guys, forget about everything else. I need to look at my resources, my productivity. So the people started least bothered about the project outcomes and the other people work. They started thinking about only their output and their outcome, and they try to see that how we can make money. If I'm mobilizing someone, how I can get an end of the month, how can I get a sufficient revenue for me to achieve it. So this leads to another, again, the people prioritizing where the more quantity is there. Instead of completing a road or a zone which they started looking into another zone, because that's where you can start getting a lot of new excavation mobilization, and in the progress we can show something in the schedule, etc. So what will happen? Someone who already started work and someone who need a work front, they have to now go and escalate to the senior management or the top management, or a top management have to come down and find out what is not happening. So they have to now create a kind of a pressure to the contractor to get the work done. So that means unless until we get a firefighting, the things will not move it. So everyone knows that there's a lot of work is opened and a lot of work front is available, and still the prioritization is a challenge. So every day, every time, we need to kind of put a pressure on the system to start working it. So these all situations are moving to where the people are only looking at a transactional of getting the money, getting the invoice, getting the processes, and ultimately what is missing is the value for the customer. So the lean is ultimately looking for the value for customer, not just the end customer, even the intermediate customer, what we are working with it. So to better explain that, the situation what we are working, like in the previous slide, if we summarize, we can see that there is a lot of unwanted activities and unwanted efforts which are happening, which is called as a waste. And this particular activity is leading to a situation where an unevenness, the variation in terms of time and effort, we don't know what is going to happen at what point of time. And when it is happening, we have to overburden the system to get the work done. Now, when we overburden the system, definitely the additional efforts is required, additional money is required, so it's generating the waste. So it's all the threes are connected together. And this situation, when any project or any organization exists, that is what is referred to a situation called as a wasteland. Now, the wasteland is a term which I've taken from This Is Lean, the book, and the efficiency metrics which they are explaining, which is a situation your resource efficiency and the flow efficiencies are very low. Now, most of the project or the organization, when they are into this situation, the immediate attention or attempt for the organization and the people is to see that, okay, let me get to the resource efficiency. So the productivity is a word which is very common in the construction industry, and people are good famous in that. Like, the design people, they optimize their work. The procurement is optimizing their work. They know the over processing. They're trying to see that how the excess money has been spent on the project, so we can cut short the excess money. They do another or 4 or 5 round of negotiation to get the better rate or a better negotiated price for the material, etc. But what ultimately is happening is the resource efficiency focus, what we are doing, it is leading to a situation called as an efficient island. Efficient island, like the word mentioning, the island per se, all are efficient. So you look at the consultant, they are efficient, the contractor, they are efficient, the procurement, they are efficient, the design team is efficient, the plant and machinery team is efficient, but ultimately, is it the project is progressing or the milestones are achieving? No. So everyone looks efficient in their area of work because they are focusing on the resource efficiency. It's a situation which will never lead us to a kind of a situation where we can achieve both the resource efficiency and the flow efficiency together. That is nothing but called as a perfect state, what an organization or a project required. It is, of course, it's going to be a difficult task and kind of a theoretical situation, because as long as there is a variation, as long as there is an unpredictability in the system, we try to bring our resources, and there's all possibility that the resources may get idle, or there is a work which is pending, which is not allowing us to move forward. So the work waiting for workers and the workers waiting for the work, which is ultimately leading us to drag from the situation of a perfect state. So the way forward is to see that how we can achieve and ensure that a smooth flow of the activities, like how we can bring some predictability into the system. And this predictability can really help us to see that the resource mobilized are utilized properly, so the resource efficiency can be high. At the same time, the work is not waiting for the workers because the resources are keep moving into the one stage to another stage. So this is how we can see that the lean is going to help the construction industry to focusing not just one parameter of the productivity, but also to see that how the execution speed, the flow of the efficiency, the flow efficiency of the construction can also be streamlined and improved from where we are currently now. Now, let me tell you how we can achieve it. Now, you remember the point which I've mentioned, the time, cost, quality, the people are struggling to achieve it when they are trying to focus one at a time or a two at a time, etc. So one of the way forward is, instead of the paradigm what we are looking at the time, cost, and quality focus, one thing what the lean is suggested, and the way which is move forward, especially from the Dr. Koskela, is to see that how we can look the construction with a different perspective, different paradigm, the value, flow, and transform. First, look at the value what each activity, each process, each organization and the project is delivering to the end customer and the intermediate customer, and see that how a smooth flow of this material, information, and process can be happening, which ultimately transform the input to the output. So instead of focusing one time at one time or a cost at a time point of time, try to look at the larger perspective of a project, and then try to see that our actions are ensuring that there is no non-value adding activities are happening, no work is getting idle, no resources are getting idle. So ultimately, we could able to see that all the input and effort what we are doing in the project is getting transformed into the result what we require. And this is possible and can be achieved only with a collaboration. If client is saying that, okay, I appointed a contractor, now it is your headache, and the contractor is telling, okay, I've taken this project in a low cost, now give me more money to work it, or I'm going to find out the way to improve the revenue by looking at only the work which is giving me the higher revenue, then these are some specific interest will drag us from the collaboration. The collaboration, as we mentioned earlier, people need to be assertive, at the same time they need to be cooperative, and there are many lean tools and techniques which can use it to achieve this particular purpose, and see that how the project can achieve its deliverable within the expected time duration and the cost. The first and most what we need to do, and what as a consultant or as a lean need to understand, is we need to develop a lean mindset in the people. The lean is not a certain tools or a template or a checklist which you can go to the site and tell to the people and now you follow it. Okay, all the people in the ground level, the engineers are trained on lean, or they appointed one person to coordinate it and the lean will happen. No, the lean is all about the mindset. It's about the mindset of the people working in the project from all across the organization, across the projects working in the organization, including the leaders to the person who really work in the ground level, including the foreman and the engineers working in the ground level. What it means by the lean mindset is it's about challenging the current situation. In the construction industry, you will see that we are, oh, this is what I'm doing for last 10 years. This is what I'm doing in my previous project. No, we need to see that whether is there a real value we are giving? Is there any non-value adding activities? Is it really affecting the flow? Is it really improving improving the flow. So the people need to go and see and get involved, have to understand the meaning of continuous improvement. This all can be happen with the respecting the individual and the organization and the process. You cannot dictate, and you are considering that no, I am the client, I am the big person, or I am the project manager in the contractor, I am the big person, everything else is, I will just tell you and you just need to follow. It will not work in that way. So the lean mindset is all built in the collaboration. It's about the assertiveness. You should allow the people to talk. We should allow the people to be speaking up. You should also allowed to be yourself as a kind of a cooperative person, to listen to the people and listen to others, and this mindset need to be there. So a teamwork is what really required to achieve the lean implementation. And the lean mindset need to be complemented with the lean thinking. The lean thinking is nothing but understanding what is the value, like I mentioned earlier. So the understanding the value will lead us to see that what our customers require. It can be an internal customer. If the procurement person doesn't know that the need of the material in the site, he may go for a 2 or 4 round of negotiation to get a cost optimization. But by the time the material come to the site, the time might have already gone. So the project will be delaying. And ultimately, the money what you saved in the procurement may not be able to cover the loss what you're already making in the site. So the value, it's very important for the people in each stage and step to understand, ultimately leading them to a kind of a situation to remove that what is the real the stream to achieve that value. There may be some processes you can eliminate it, some maybe you can optimize it, with an idea or a purpose, seeing that how a continuous flow of information and work can be happening in the project site. And pull is another concept which is very beautiful part which we need to understand in the lean when we are applying is the pull is something like we allow the internal customer, the next in line person, to talk to the people and try to get it, instead of okay, I'm sitting in the manager, I'm the coordinating everything, I keep on dictating you what you need to do every day. No, we need to see that how the work is happening. The people who are part of this value stream are allowed to talk to their internal customers and their suppliers in that language, and to see that what is the demand, there is a conversation. And unless until we fulfill the requirement of the person who really does the job, we are not able to achieve what we really need to do it in a project. So this pull is an important concept in a lean thinking. Ultimately, the quest for perfection, unless until the people are thinking that there's an opportunity in each and everything what we do, we cannot improve ourselves. Or no, we are working at a 10 days cycle now, we reduced that to 8-day cycle, and that is it. Okay, end of the improvement. Now let us focus only on 8. No, always we need to look at that mindset of saying that how we can improve the situation from the current situation to another situation. So when we start applying the lean construction, this I'm just quoting a research survey from McGraw-Hill Construction. They have conducted a bit long back, but it's quite clear indication that how the lean constructions are helping a different organization when they practice it in a proper way. I don't want to take much time and selling the advantages, because the people may not be able to realize it. But quickly, when you start allowing the people to do a sufficient time to do their job, you will see that obviously an improvement in the quality and safety. So once you do the quality and safety and the timely completion of the work, you will see that the rework is minimized and you are improving the processes, and all this will improve the timeline, and all this will improve the effective utilization of the resources what we already deployed. You imagine you have X is your overhead for doing deploying the people in a project. A time saved in a project is a kind of a huge money, you will realize it. So the opportunity to improve the performance, productivity, and profitability together is very high when you do it. You don't need to differentiate and see that how the quality need to be improved in one line or safety. So all the parameters what we require to deliver in a project need to be the objective of practicing by everyone, and the lean construction can give us that space or an opportunity for everyone to work together and achieve what the project is required to be delivered. So if it is so great, why the lean is not adopted by everyone? This may be one question in your mind. So what is happening in the industry today is all are busy. These tools are there to support you, to help you, to reach out to and to eliminate your non-value adding activities, but we stuck to the non-value adding activities. The people are in a mindset, oh no, we don't have time, we are busy. What you are busy with? Let's just do a quick analysis of what people are busy with. So the quick purpose of this particular slide is to do a work failure analysis. So typically, any work we assign, take it as a task. Task need to be done. You need three things: directives, prerequisites, and resources. Unless until you have a clear instruction, the previous task is completed, all the materials and everything is arranged, you cannot really start the work or end the work. So when you are about to, at the beginning of a project, when you schedule it and everything, all this is look like a very perfect stage. But you are about to start the work, then you realize, okay, my material is not available, the work friend is not available, the resources are not available. So this situation is called as a planning failure. It's not a planner failure. Just let me rephrase it, put it correctly. It's a planning failure. So the planning failure will lead us to a typical replanning or a delay, which is a common thing. But the problem what is happening in the industry today is when you see a planning failure, the people will not accept the planning failure. What they does is they try to start the work saying that, okay, I started 1% of work or a 2% work. Even though you may not have the work friend, you may not have the approval or a drawing, but still to show that the schedule, to see that the work is started. Otherwise, the schedule will show the work is not started. Then more delay will be shown and the client will be questioned. So they just mobilized a certain things to see that how the work can be on paper or on the ground level, just it is started. But this ultimately leading to more. The deployed people need to be wait. Then you have to deploy some extra resources at later stage. And when the work friend is coming, then overburden will be there for the people, and further, the delay can be expected. So this situation continue, and you are not able to finish the work on time, we call it as an execution failure. Now the execution failure, when it is happening, again, the people can really say that, okay, there is a problem in execution failure. We couldn't achieve the timeline, so we need to replan it, and we have to deploy the extra resources. It is all a known problem. But what happening in our industry behavior is we try to hide that fact also, saying that, okay, partially finish it. So instead of completing the whole excavation and then the pipe can be done and then the backfilling can be done, what we try to do is, oh, okay, so you are delaying it. So instead of saying that the completion is delayed, why can't we give the half portion to the person, and we will ask them to say that no, work is completed, you come and start it. So what will happen is the partial completion, if any work is not 100% completed, you have to redeploy the same resources to that particular location to do the balance 10% or a 15%. And the same time, these resources cannot be utilized in another area. So always there is a kind of a dependency and always kind of a struggle and always a follow-up required between the parties and the organization and trades to get this work done. And the people are very busy, like we mentioned in the previous slide. So when the people are busy, when the people are moving around and people try to achieve in a kind of a sequence, what we are seeing is the possibility or a probability of a completing a task within the planned time is getting reduced. So take a task, how we can say that the task can be completed in a kind of in a concept wise. If the necessary conditions are available, the task can be started, and if the criteria of that particular task is completed, then we can say that the task is completed. Now let me put some kind of a percentage to that. What is the probability of arranging a material or a machinery, having a work front, labor availability? Now we'll say that everything is available. Now everything is available is a kind of a notional thing, like there's nothing like 100% possibility that things can happen in our projects or in our life. So I just take that 5% discounted, and I'm just saying as a 95%. Okay, everything is available means still I'm putting as a 95%. So there is a possibility that the morning the machinery is not started, or the work front still some work is pending or something. So now if you look at the current probability of even everything can be arranged by 95%, you could see that the probability of starting a task is only 80%. How it's? Because 0.95 to 0.95 to 0.95 to 0.95. So it is coming only 80% is a possibility of starting a task. Now you started a task and you see that now the resource is working on that. Now, if the efficiency of a particular resource to work is only 70%, why I'm taking 70% is it's only the machine can give 100%. So in normal situation, it's very unlikely to have the 100% efficiency by the team unless until you give some buffer and all. But now today's construction, you know that we never give a buffer. We try to even give an extra or an increased target for the people and to get a maximum out of it. So when you try to see the probability of a completing a task in this scenario, it's coming only 56%. It's a very simple again, 0.8 into 0.7. It's coming as a 0.56. That means a 56%. Now, let's see that we completed the work. Now, what is the task? Once a task is completed, what we need to do? Someone have to come and inspect and then get an approval on a quality point of view or any other parameters which we are defined in the project. Now, do we know when we are going to complete the task and tell the inspector to come and inspect at the time we are completing? No, because the probability of completing the task is very close to 50%. I may complete today or tomorrow. So unless until I complete, I cannot submit or make or request the person to come and do the inspection. So I'm just putting as a probability of an inspection here as a 90%, and probability of passing the inspection as a 90%, which is very high in the industry. You know that it never happened. You plan for an inspection, maybe the inspector will be busy in some other area inspecting, so he have to come. So it will take another 1 day buffer, or it may take another 2 days for him to come and check it. But in either case, I'm just taking as a high probability of 90-90. Now, what's the possibility of completing the task with all these probabilities? It's only 45%. Now, when taking all the parameters in a higher side, and we try to see that how we can complete the task, only the 45% is the probability of completing the task on time. Now, imagine a situation where you don't have a work front. Directly, the entire probability of starting the task itself is become a zero, because there's no work front. Or what is the probability of getting rejection in the inspection is 50%. The probability of completing the task is again further down. So what will happen? Why I'm connecting this is, what will happen is the industry or the people, when they're planning, they have a situation, they don't know the parameters which they are enabling to do the work is available or not available. Unless until they complete a task and get it certified or inspection cleared, they cannot even think about planning the next activity. So the way what we do and what we are suggesting and working with the people in the industry to overcome this problem through the structured way is that during the weekly planning is the possibility to start the work or the finish the work. What are the challenges which they are facing? Identify the constraints. So you will get a kind of a list of a work which is promised to do, which is very clear for the particular week. And when the week progresses, the team huddle and daily and the weekly and the discussions and everything lead us to a situation where what are the reason for non-completion if the work is not completed. And also, that there is a promises versus what is the completion, like PPC, what is the plan percentage completion you can achieve it. And there may be some additional work which they might have done during the week can be listed down. Why we are taking this information is, this is the information which will help the team to study, analyze, and pattern-ize the reasons behind this kind of a delay, and we can deploy a countermeasures to see that how these lessons learned can be taken into the next level. Now you can see that unless until the team work in a collaboration, they talk to each other, the weekly they come together to identify, and on a daily basis they discuss this particular learning and improvement is not possible to happen in a construction industry. Now, this learning, what I've mentioned in this 2-3 slides, is only a smaller portion of a tool which is deployed in a lean construction called as a last planner system. So you could see that in the 3 and 4, this is the area how it is mentioned in the last planner system. Last planner system is a stage or in a process which is starting from the milestone planning to the phase planning, look ahead planning, and the weekly commitment planning, and the daily how the work is being managed, and ultimately this learning has been taken back to the next level of planning and next level of projects and everything. So the last planner system, the beauty of it is, like we mentioned earlier, it is focusing on value, what each end customer required, ensuring the flow, and seeing that all the inputs what we brought into the project is getting converted into the output or the deliverables what we required. So we are able to see that how the resources efficiency and the flow efficiency can be achieved through this structured way. I don't want to spend much time, but just to give you saying that by implementing such the lean tools and making the people to have the lean mindset and the lean thinking, we can really bridge. The example what I shown is one tool and very small portion of that tool, how that tool can be worked, can really bridge the today's gap between the macro planning and the micro planning. So the possibility or the challenges of the workers waiting for the work and work waiting for the workers can be bridged by redefining the project delivery strategy, what we are doing now, and see that how we can really improve the situations in our project. Taking to a quick dive into another discussion here, how efficient is our construction industry? Taking a data from 2004, the application of lean principles, which is a construction industry institute reported. It's a long ago in US they might have done, but it's still kind of a valid for our construction industry. You could see that 75 to 90% of the field work is non-value adding actor. You can see, in the previous discussions I've mentioned, you can see that how the site is functioning. Today, you can see that almost 90 to 95% of the people working in the site are going in a follow-up to talk to the people and to arrange the material. The material is not arranged, so you have to run behind them. The task is not completed. So most of the jobs what we do does is mostly on the follow-ups and getting the things done. So is it really adding value? Not really. The materials are idle, the machineries are idle, the work front is idle. So you could see that the value adding activity which the people are doing in a construction sites are very low compared to other industries. So this is the area of improvement for us. Now look at in construction what we are doing at the time, this non-value adding activities or which is causing a non-completion of our activities. Have a look at the one of the data which we pull out from one of the projects we implemented lean. The data based on 150 activities not completed in a week. So you remember the point which I've mentioned, the weekly plan and the to-do list, and from the list, people are able to identify the reason for non-completion. And this list you further analyze, what we could find out is in this particular project is there was a 450 activities, 150 activities are not completed, and we could see that where they are spending their time, which are the non-value adding activities or the effort which they are doing, which caused this 150 activities are not completed in that project. So I'll take you a quick example of one of the study this is a different project, but I'll just show you how this kind of a study or observation can really help us to get into the next level. This is one of the pre-engineered building. They were trying to achieve the 32 hours of a column erection cycle. 8 hours of column erection cycle, but they were taking almost 32 hours. So what we have done in this project is we made the list of key activities, and we observed the time they have taken for each activities and the number of people deployed and everything. Then along with the team, in a collaborative session, we analyzed the understanding of this. What we could see is material identification, which is taking almost 2.5 hours, where it can be done in 30 minutes. So 2 hours they took extra for searching the material. Similarly, all the area which they have taken actual time, we discussed with the teams and experts to see that what is the minimum or the required time to do it and why they have taken the extra time. So this analysis leads us to a conclusion saying that the total time required to do as per the team is only 13 hours. Even though the planner is saying that 8 hours it can be achieved, the team agree that there is a 13 hours is required to do this job. Still, you can see that 19 hours are extra which they have taken due to lack of coordination or the kind of a the situation which the project was facing. One simple example I can tell is no proper access. What happening is in this particular scenario, the erection team was planning a path to take the material. There is a lack of coordination. The other contractor, they started excavation in that area and they made a trench. Now the vehicle cannot or the material cannot be taken into that route. So they have to take a longer distance to bring the material to that particular erection area. So these are the few challenges which a regular construction activities faced, but a simple value stream mapping study which revealed them that a 60% time can be saved and which they brought back and they could able to increase the timeline in the construction project. So similarly, when we talk about the construction industry and the lean application, there are several tools and techniques are available. I just give a very limited version of a very simplified version of a value stream mapping in the previous slides. I just explained only a kind of a 10% of what is last planner system means. And similarly, now you can see that the number of tools and techniques available in the lean construction, which can really resolve the problems and bring that capability in people. See, I will not say that the lean implementation is going to really be useful unless until the people are developed and people are trained. So it's very important aspect as a client consultant contractor, and as a team we started applying, because it's about the lean thinking we need to bring into all the people, and we have to take it to the next level of the project. So to come to a kind of a single statement to provide in this, the lean construction, it's a way to design the production system. So don't worry, the word production, it's not talking about manufacturing. It's about how the work is getting done in our work site is what it is referred to, minimize the waste of material, time and effort, and generate the maximum possible value. So if all that what I discussed in, and all the tools what I shown, all the concepts what I've mentioned, it can be simply mentioned into this one simple statement. And this is what an organization and people need to look at. What is it for you? What lean construction is for you? Do you have a challenges which you need to resolve it? Or do you see that an improvement opportunity by adopting the lean? This is a time you really need to start working on how it can be started applying to your organization and your work and your project. So many people will be asking a question, and I do receive some questions when a few of you, while registering, you raised this question. Can the lean applied in the smaller project, or can the lean applied in any specific project only? No, the lean can be applied in any type of project. It's the answer. You don't need to be whether small or big or anything. Any type of a project, any type of a contract, whether it's a design build contract, whether it's a design bid and build contract, or is it a lump sum contract, if it's an alliance or a public private partnership or an integrated project delivery. Of course, in a contractually, when the people are supposed to be part of it, it's quite easy to get these things, because there's a buy-in will be there to collaborate and coordinate. But you remember, the collaboration doesn't mean that just people coming together and making an attendance. The collaboration is about allowing and having that productive conversation between the people and keep moving forward. So I can talk another 2 hours, 3 hours continuously. I can talk even 35 hours of a lean construction training or education program. But I keep on telling lean is beneficial, but it will be like the blank screen what you are seeing in front of you. So you need to start understand and start reading. First and most, it's important point for us to start seeing the lean. Benefit of lean is to an individual to need to learn and understand and see that, relate to his work, and see that whether the lean can bring a change into the way what we are working and what we deliver the work. So once an individual get convinced, it's a time. An individual cannot make any change. A team is required. So your team as an organization, or as a team of site, or as a team of a project delivery, that means a client, consultant, contractor, need to accept or to see that how as a team we can work it. Because it required a lean thinking and lean mindset. Not 1 or 2% cannot do it. It's an organizational and a kind of an approach which we need to do it. And ultimately, we need to see that, okay, everyone is agreeing on paper, it can be done. But unless until we practice and show it in the project, we cannot really achieve it. So what, as an organization, as a consulting organization, what we do is, we have a different strategy and we have a different packages, which is helping the organization who are willing to implement lean in place. So we will allow the people to learn, we will allow the people to experience, and we will see that how this can be taken into the next level. So always we suggest, there are multiple, like a 3-point and 4-point different implementation strategies. We can do it based on the organization style and functioning. So one of the model is a 3-point strategy, where we need to pilot it, and the success in the pilot need to be validated in another 1 or 2 projects, and then we can say that we can take it to the organization level project. Where it's a mega project, we can take it as a part of the project. This kind of a model can be implemented And at the time of consulting, what we will be focusing is to give that the 10-70-20 model. So that means, as we mentioned earlier, the lean is more about the lean mindset and lean thinking to be developed rather than the compliance or the paperwork and the checklist to be created. So the educations are required, and we will give this education, but to the sufficient to see that how the skill of the people can be developed in the project. So all these details and strategies and how the lean can be taken from the current stage to the next level, I'm sure you may be keen. So please be in touch with Don, and he will be helpful for you to create a kind of an approach for a training and the strategy for the organization. So with that, I'm just concluding a request. Arun, can you just continue the webinar with the journey, what
Yes.
we can.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Tony, to demystifying lean construction concepts. It will really help the crowd over here. I believe there are mix of crowd here who are already been practicing somewhat lean practices over there in their projects. However, understanding and implementing in an accurate way is what is required here. As you mentioned in your slides, lean mindset and lean thinking is a major components of this the presentation. I would take it up and try to address to the crowd that lean mindset and lean thinking need to be there in place to successfully implement and reap benefits out of it. So yes, as a organization, Excelledia does have a lean practice. We are into training and implementation on lean practice. As I mentioned earlier, more than a decade, we have been helping organizations in bringing in business improvements through implementing lean practice. We do have a couple of services under lean for services, lean for construction, which is what the webinar is all about. We have a lean Six Sigma training and implementation. We do have lean manufacturing and production implementation and training as well. And as well as we do a lot of implementation which specific to lean tools like Kaizen, 5S, etc. So we are there to help you out in this industry. We are open to have an awareness session if required. If you feel that you need an awareness session for your company, we are offering a free of awareness session for 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours depending on the company. We would like to offer you that during this webinar. So there is an offer that is being open, so you can reach out to us. We're just sharing the coordinates here so that you can reach out to it. Yeah, so you can write it to Don at xt.com and you can reach out to him on the same number. We have already shared our details also. You can even reach out to us, the LinkedIn pages. So yeah, further moving forward, I think we can take up some questions now. If you have any questions, please do write it on the chat so that we can take it up and we can answer it. I think already we got one, Tony, from...
I cannot read it. Can you just read out for me?
Yeah.
Or maybe
Don
let the
can...
person to allow. You can just allow the person to speak. It will be.
Yeah.
Don, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Tony, so we have got a question from Mr. John Oliver. The question is the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats approach can also be applied in collaboration?
Yeah, strength, weakness. Yeah, SWOT
The SWOT
analysis.
approach.
Yeah, SWOT approach. See, SWOT is mostly it's an analysis tool. So, but of course, nothing stops us to evaluate what we do it. The collaboration, whether the collaboration is really happening and how it can be improved, the SWOT can be used. But to define the collaboration, I still go for the Killman's model. It's very important. The people today in the world, they really misunderstand the word collaboration, and trying to see that if two people are coming together and talking, they call it as a collaboration, but I'm very stubborn in what I'm saying. That really not going to help us to achieve it. I don't know whether I answer it. If any further queries on that, we can allow the gentleman to speak. Okay, so I can see now the questions. There is one question from Sohan. Can lean implemented in design and procurement? Yes, absolutely. Like we mentioned, the lean is about understanding the value and then understanding the stream and then seeing that it's flowing and allowing the people those are receiving to be pulled for it. And then it's about a continuous improvement. So take it as a design. The design is a process where you need a multiple input and multiple interactions, multiple people need to work on it. So how to deliver or how to get into a design today, what we're seeing, the design is developed and then sending to the contractor or a consultant over the wall is the term what we use. So when they receive it, they look at the constructability, then constructability is getting affected, and then they will come back with the queries and questions, RFI. You can see that the typical how many type of iterations a design is doing. One of the project where we were talking about the improvement in design, we could see that there are 23 revisions are made in few drawings. It's not a complex drawing or anything. In a simple drawing for a reflection coordination, like in a coordinated drawing, there's a 23 revisions were made. And there is a kind of the time what we are taking from a shop drawing approval to the design finalization was almost 15-20 days in another project. So when we do a simple value stream mapping and the discussion with the people, we could able to really reduce the timeline, reduce the number of iteration. And also there is something called as a target value design. The target value design is allowing the people to collaborate in the early stages and setting up a kind of a target for the design, which is workable, which is a deliverable by, and including even the procurement and the supply chain people. So what is available in the industry, what is constructible, the people can make it and then deliver the design once it's finalized. The supply and the execution people can proceed together. So there are beautiful ways of working design, procurement, and also the procurement also. One project where I implemented lean, it's my first project implemented the lean in 2014 time, 13-14 time. The organization was taking in a 90-day project almost a 45 days to achieve the or to complete the procurement process. Now you can imagine a 90-day project, you are taking 45 days to finalize the vendor, how it is going to affect the project itself. So what I've done in the project is we made a kind of a collaborative discussion, a 15-minute stand-up meeting. When I'm saying stand-up, it was not really a stand-up, it's an online discussion. But they could able to achieve the 95% of the procurement requirement, which are the priority, in 10 days time. So this is the power of when the people started understanding the importance of collaboration, working together, and seeing that unwanted steps can be eliminated and everything can be taken up. I hope, Sohan, I addressed you. Okay, now there is another question. Can we get a case study of lean principles implemented successfully in a building construction? Absolutely. There are plenty of lean construction success stories are available. I myself has worked with many construction projects, especially the building projects, and we could able to see a lot of improvement in terms of time delivery and the reduction of time and the collaboration and improvement at the ground level, etc. But for you to refer, what I suggest is if you can go to the Google and search for IGLC. IGLC is one of the international conference where you could see that a lot of papers are presented from across the globe. So it started I think it's a 30 year before it started this conference, and the document available are kind of a beautiful. You will see a lot of improvements in many areas. So just go to the website and Google and search for the IGLC, and you will find the rough conference documents there. Of course, you can find a lot of the documents in Lean Construction Institute website, and of course in the industry. So try to reach out. This our LinkedIn details are also mentioned, and the details of Dawn is also mentioned. So connect with us, and if you have any queries or any more details required, I'm happy to share. Right. Any any other question? I couldn't go through the chat, so if anyone wants to speak, or please speak up, and
Yeah, they can just raise their hands if someone wants to speak. We
got
try
another
to.
5 minutes, 4 minutes maximum we can spare.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we don't want to hold you much for the. Yes, webinar recordings. I'm just seeing the chat now. Webinar recordings. We'll be making it available in our, and we'll be communicating with you. Yes.
So to all in the webinar, I would again want to repeat, if you have any queries, you can write it to don@excelledia.com, or else we can you can put a chat over here. We can reach out to you back, and we can have a separate discussion, offline discussion if it is required. And again, we are offering a free awareness session for bringing in more lean mindset and lean thinking into this industry. So we are trying to bring in those concepts here very well. Even though these lean concepts have been here for quite some time, people have not started accepting and adopting and utilizing it. So we would love to work along with you and make sure that you get some business improvements and reap benefits out of it. So please do reach out to us.
Okay, there's a question now. Do you have any software for lean construction? There are several softwares are available in the lean construction. Again, do the search, and if you couldn't find out, just message me in a kind of LinkedIn, and I can guide you through some. But my strong feeling is the industry need more than the software. It's about the process and people. So, like the Arun was mentioning, it's a people, process, and technology. Today the lean, it's in a stage where people need to really understand how to collaborate, how to work together. The technology is something a kind of an enabler for them. So unless until you develop that lean thinking and lean mindset, the software is not really going to help you. But definitely, yes,
help.
if someone reached to that level, we can help it. Yes.
Yeah, even we can help to develop those softwares. We do have a dedicated team for this on technology improvements. So Sumant, I think we can even address to that issue as well. We can
reach out to Don,
yeah.
And we can really support you in that.
Yeah. Any questions?
Okay, so that's great. So we don't want to take much of your time. Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining us. It really appreciate your spending your 1 hour of your busy work time to hearing us, and please feel free to reach to us for your suggestions. Any improvement, usually we do the plus delta. I leave to you to just reach out to us with your information, what you find it good and what you find it to be improved. You can also put it in the chat box, all the pluses and deltas, what you find it, to making us to aware that what we have done good and what we need to improve in our next presentation. And we will take all your suggestions in a positive way. So before you leave, please type in the chat box what you find good in this webinar, and how we can improve this webinars in the next time. So looking forward to your feedback and suggestions as well. And once again, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Yes, back to you, Arun.
Thank you, Tonti, and thank you all on over here who are present. Thanks a lot. So let's conclude this webinar. Hope we might get some inquiries after this, so that we can address to their queries. Thank you.